All right, today we're going to get right into it and dissect one of the most feared threats out there, the ransomware attack. We're going to map out its anatomy, step by painful step.
I mean, you hear about these things all the time, right? Hospitals, schools, whole cities just stopped in their tracks. So how does a ransomware attack really work? Is it just some random digital explosion, or is there, a plan?
Well, the answer is it's not chaos, not even close. A modern ransomware attack follows a superstructured plan, like a blueprint for digital crime. And honestly, understanding that blueprint is the very first step to beating it.
So in the world of cybersecurity, this blueprint actually has a name. It's called a kill chain. It's basically a model that maps out every single step an attacker has to take to get what they want. Think of it like their project plan for a massive digital shakedown. Okay, so this whole idea of a kill chain, it's not exactly brand new. For years, cybersecurity pros have been trying to figure out how these attackers operate, and that's led to a few really foundational models that kind of set the stage for everything we know today.
And to really get a handle on the crazy sophisticated playbooks attackers use now, we've got to go back and look at the originals. So let's start with the first two big frameworks that tried to map all this out.
All right, so on one side, you had the cyber kill chain. It was simple, a straight line, 7 steps showing how an attacker gets in. It's a classic, but honestly, a little outdated now. Then on the other side, you have MITRE ATT&CK. This thing isn't a path. It's more like a gigantic library of every single tactic an attacker could possibly use after they're inside. It's unbelievably detailed, but yeah, it can be a real beast to try and follow as one cohesive story.
So you've got one model for breaking in and this massive encyclopedia for what happens next. It didn't take long for security researchers to start thinking, hey, what if we could combine these two ideas into something, way more powerful?
And that was the million-dollar question, right? What if you could actually merge the simple linear start of the cyber kill chain with all the rich, detailed tactics from MITRE ATT&CK? Could you actually create one single cohesive map of an entire attack from start to finish?
Well, the answer is yes. And here it is, the unified kill chain. You can see it right here. It was developed by a researcher named Paul Pulse, and his whole goal was to merge those earlier models into one single holistic view of an attack's entire lifecycle.
What the unified kill chain does is it boils the whole attack down into 3 main phases. First up, you've got the initial foothold. That's basically everything it takes to compromise that first machine. Then you've got network propagation, which is all about spreading out inside the network. And finally, action on objectives. That's the endgame, what they were after all along.
So this unified model? A huge leap forward, for sure. But the kind of ransomware that makes headlines, the really nasty human-operated stuff, it has its own unique, destructive goals. It's not just any cyber attack. It's a very specialized kind of digital extortion.
And because it is such a different beast, it needs its own specialized blueprint. I mean, the goal isn't just to sneak in and steal a file, it's to systematically take over, steal the most valuable data you have, obliterate your backups, and then hold your entire organization hostage. And this is what that blueprint looks like, the unified ransomware kill chain. This is really the heart of what we're talking about today, a specific step-by-step guide to how a modern digital shakedown actually happens.
Okay, so let's walk through this. The attack kicks off in a pretty linear way, just like you'd think. First, attackers gain access. They might hack their way in or, honestly, just buy stolen passwords on the dark web. Then, they establish a foothold to make sure they can get back in. And finally, they start network discovery, basically creating a map of the internal network.
But this is where the playbook for ransomware takes a really critical, nasty turn. Once they have that map of your network, they don't just go straight for the finish line. Nope. They settle in and start a patient and devastating loop right inside your network.
And believe me, this loop is the real engine of the whole attack. It's got 3 repeating steps. First, key assets discovery. They hunt for your crown jewels, your most sensitive data, and just as importantly, your backups. Next up, network propagation, where they spread to other critical systems. And finally, data exfiltration. They quietly start sneaking your most sensitive information out the back door.
And what's so important to get here is that this is not a one-and-done kind of thing. The attackers repeat this loop, discover, spread, steal, over and over and over again. This can go on for weeks, sometimes even months. as they just burrow deeper and deeper, getting total control before a single alarm bell rings.
It's only after they've stolen what they want and they control the whole network that they finally break that loop and move to the final phase. First is deployment preparation. This is when they shut down security software and crucially delete the backups. Then, boom, ransomware deployment. The encryption kicks off across the network. And finally, extortion. The ransom note pops up on everyone's screen.
So, there you have it. That is the attacker's blueprint. It's methodical, it's patient, and yeah, it's incredibly effective. But here's the thing. Understanding it isn't just some academic exercise. This blueprint, it's also the key to your defense.
Which brings us to the most important question, right? If this is their playbook, page by page, how in the world do you write a counterplan? How do you stop this attack before it gets to that final, catastrophic stage? The source material we're using for this explainer puts it perfectly. It says that by understanding these kill chains, incident responders can actually reconstruct attacks. So these aren't just abstract theories. They are real, practical tools used on the front lines to figure out what happened during a breach.
And that right there, that is the single most important thing to take away from all this. Every single step we just walked through, every link in that chain, it's not just a step for the attacker. It's an opportunity for the defender. It's a chance to spot them, to stop them, and to break the chain.
I mean, think about it, right? You want to stop them at the gain access stage? You got to harden your credentials. You want to catch them during network propagation? Start monitoring your internal traffic for weird behavior. You can spot data exfiltration by looking for massive, unexpected data transfers leaving your network. And you can survive the final hit by making your backups absolutely untouchable, so their whole deployment preparation phase just fails.
At the end of the day, knowing the attacker's path is the first and most critical step to blocking it. The ransomware kill chain gives us that map. So the final question really isn't about them anymore. It's about you. When you look at this chain, when you think about this path, what's the weakest link in your defense?